I had a realization recently that the world opens up to you when you enjoy it instead of demand from it. What does that even mean? I think when we are using phrases and just even feeling like, I need this job, I need this client, I need this to work, I need this, or else everything in my life is going to fall apart, we are going into that territory of desperation. And it's just not a place that invites opportunities. Have you ever needed a job so badly? Did you ever get it? Did you ever get a job that needed a worker so badly, and when you got into that environment, you're like, this is not for me? Because desperation is often a sign that things are just not really okay. And enjoying the experience of becoming the person that you desire is so much more inviting because it opens your mind, it opens your eyes to opportunities, versus desperation kind of closes your mind. You just fixated on this one thing, you just want this one thing to work, and you're not seeing things through the third eye. You're not being open to what possibilities and opportunities could be there that you're just not missing because you just focus right here, right? And I'm not talking about being focused as a desperation, but you know what I mean when I say desperation. And when we are in a space where we just not achieved a certain level of success for ourselves, we are desperate to become successful. We're desperate to make it. And we just have our eyes like, this is how I'm going to have to do it. This is what I'm going to have to do. And it's good to have drive. It's good to have ambition. It's good to have goals. It's good to have all of these things. So I'm not saying that is what I'm, going against, but I'm talking about when it becomes like, okay, I have these goals and I'm flexible with the plan. The goal is fixed, the dream is fixed, but I'm flexible with the vehicle. I may think I'm going to achieve it with this one thing, but I may surprise myself and achieve it with something else. And some things are just the opening gate for the bigger opportunities. But when you just have a more curious mind and a more open perspective, you ask more questions versus like having things as a statement. You're asking yourself, who am I becoming here? What am I learning here? And how can I become better from this experience? And what is the next thing that I can pivot to? Versus feeling like everything that just didn't work out is a complete loss, and like you are just not still on the road to the dream and the goal. And so I was literally just thinking about this today, and I thought about the fact that there are many times when I felt like there's so much uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what is going to work out. And it was just hard times. And I feel like I'm having one of those moments right now. And a couple of weeks ago, I was just having a conversation about it and just saying that in this transition period that I'm in right now, there is so much uncertainty. And a lot of times it gets the better of me. But I know better now, because I've shared before here, if you're not new, that I went back to my home country, Jamaica, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I didn't have a job there. It took me a year and a half to get a job. I was mostly self-employed, doing a lot of different things to make money, from tutoring to making and selling coconut oil. And it was a very hard time because, one, I left the country when I was a teenager and went to the US for college. I've never had a job there. I never had any experience of how tough the job market is. I always heard a lot of people say they finished school, they have student loans, they couldn't get a job. And I've been hearing that so much. But I just never had an experience of what it would be like for me. And I had my loan at the time too. So there was just this added burden of being able to pay off my bill. and I didn't have a job, I didn't have money, I didn't have an emergency fund, and I wasn't really as, what's the word? I didn't really have a plan like I do now. I wasn't really in the position mentally that I'm in now to be able to make certain decisions, and I just wasn't as aware. I wasn't as educated financially, and I was just going with the flow type of thing without being calculated, even though I've always been an analytical person, but I just did not really started to heal and focus on my relationship with money as I am focusing on it now. And so I was just in a really hard place. And I was so desperate to get a job. I was applying everywhere. I was applying to work at a restaurant. I was applying to work at just about any opening that came about. And I got nothing. And it was hard. And I was looking for jobs from a very desperate place. Like, I needed to get an answer from somebody. I needed to get somebody to say yes to me so I could start making some money like yesterday. It never happened. And when I thought about that, I was just thinking, that's exactly what this is all about. Desperation repels opportunities. It does not open doors. It does not open your eyes to see possibilities. You are just wanting things to work out so bad that you're just going to take anything. And that is the thing. So when I actually got the job, and the experience was good, I would not, take it back or anything. But I just thought about it like, I've had other times when I had jobs and I was still getting opportunities. And I was like picking, choosing, and refusing because I wasn't in that space. So I could compare those two examples and experiences that I have to really see that this is not just something I'm saying to you guys. This is something that I've actually experienced before. It's just to say that when you're desperate for something, you're either going to take the first thing that comes to you, which is probably the wrong thing for you, because you just need to get something and you got something, so you take it. Either because you think you're not going to get anything else, or you just don't want other people to say you got an opportunity and you didn't take it, right? Or, well, I mean, I guess all of it kind of boils down to scarcity mindset, because that is the reason why you're going to take something, right? And I talked about this earlier, which is something that I'm discovering for myself too. Like, opportunities are not inherently good or bad, they're either just good or bad for you. And so you're going to take the opportunity that comes because you needed something really bad. And so when you take that opportunity, sometimes you're realizing, oh man, I'm not even going to stay here very long because we don't go together well. And so being able to set yourself up for success is by being curious and not being desperate. I know it's not easy, especially when I'm just talking about it in terms of a job experience right now, because that's probably something that a lot of people are having these desperations with, especially when you are, trying to get yourself to a next level. You don't want to have gap in your income and so forth. So you're always trying to have a paycheck coming in. So that's why I'm referring to it as job, but it could literally be anything that it means for you, to be honest, right? But this is like, everything goes back to having options. This is why everything goes back to having options, because when you literally have your emergency fund in place, you either completely out of debt or you have a plan to come out of it, and you're on track to do things like that, you are way more likely to pause before you take opportunities than to just take something because it's being offered to you. Like, I talked about this in a previous video. I think it's probably 2 years ago actually. But not because something came to you means it's a good opportunity. Yeah, I literally talked about, not because something came to you means it's a good opportunity. And when you're in a desperate place, you're not able to see well. Just like when you're drinking and you're under the influence, you're not in your best mind because you're under the influence. Desperation is kind of like under the influence. You're just under the influence of scarcity, you're under the influence of fear, and you're not making a decision from your best sound mind, right? And so I know this is something that is a bit of a challenge because I've gone through my own challenges in this experience for myself. And so that's why for me, I want to make sure that I'm walking alongside anybody else that is in this journey, in this season, to help them not having to do it by themselves. And so if this sounds like you're literally trying to come out of that desperation phase, you want to create options for yourself, you want to see what are your possibilities, but you just cannot see it because you're so in the thick of it and it's your situation and you want somebody else to look on it for you. My workshop, my Rebuild workshop, a free virtual event on July 18 is exactly for you. If you want to come, that will be the place. The link is now in the description and also in my YouTube bio. So you can check that out if that's something that you're interested in. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I wanted to have this workshop so that you can understand that even if you're in a space right now, you can literally change your situation if that's something that you truly desire. It has to have a desire. You have to want it, because 2 years ago or 5 years ago, I really didn't have any desire for wealth, to be honest. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to get by day to day. And that is one of the main reasons why a lot of people stay stuck, because you're thinking so narrow-minded and not realizing that you're actually limiting yourself by not trying to expand, right? It says that we underestimate what we can do in a year and we overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. It's just like you are going to evolve so much in 10 years. We talk about what am I going to do in a year, but there's so much evolution that happens to us. And sometimes we just need another person to see the good in us in order for it to come out, right? And so if you want somebody to walk alongside you in this process, then you can go check out the Rebuild workshop and register and get your seat. All right, so that's all I have for this video today. I just wanted to come on here and share this, like really try to approach life from a curious perspective and try to enjoy every moment and savor it like it's a big deal, because I promise you your life will feel so much more peaceful and so much more intentional, and just maybe you will literally just slide into the right opportunities, or they will just slide into you, just because you're not demanding everything all the time. All right, so if this was informative, give me a like and also share this with anybody that it could benefit as well, and comment below what is one thing that you feel like you really need right now, and if you change your mindset around it, and how could you actually change your mindset around that? I'd love to hear. And follow me on all social media platforms at Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And please consider subscribing if you have not yet subscribed, and I'll see you in my next video tomorrow. Let's go make some mistakes. Bye.